Hey everybody, it's Ashley, Associate Pediatric Emergency Mom. Today I wanted to share a little bit about my new book series called Minds for Kids. And so this was created actually with my kids in mind. One of my sons had a hard time falling asleep one night. And so I made up this story for him, and it focused on one tiny toad. And so he liked it so much he fell asleep before my story was over. So I wrote a book on this story, and then followed it up with two more. And so the second one is about seals, and the third one is about sea turtles, and they all are based on travels that we've been on and experiences that we've had. So unfortunately, I don't have a copy of the book with me. I just reformatted the book, which I'm proud of myself that I taught myself how to do it. But it takes a lot of time. So what I wanted to do is just read a bit from the part where we start to really practice mindfulness. And so the beginning of the book goes through the boys' experience in Whistler, British Columbia, and the Western toad migration, which is something that we stumbled upon miraculously, and it was an amazing experience. And so I talk about that first, and then I'm just going to read starting at the mindfulness part. Now let's focus on one tiny toad. Let's calm our minds to follow the path of this little warrior. The boys walked from the lake toward the forest along the outside of the protective barrier, looking for any toadlets who may not have followed the safe path. The boy spots the little one struggling across the path. With a body the size of a dime, its destination must seem miles away, maybe even a marathon. The boy offers his hand to his new tiny friend, hoping at least to get him across the busiest part of the path. The small toad accepts and climbs on. The boy transports the toad across the way, placing him gently in a safe area to continue its journey toward the creek. The tiny toad must cross flat ground, rocks, leaves, sticks. The boy watches the toad walk slowly over the flat dirt, then scramble over small stones. It comes to a stick, so the boy lifts the obstacle, allowing his friend to continue forward easily. After he is safely passed, the boy replaces the stick. The boy watches the tiny toad walk over small leaves and under large ones. He watches his tiny charge maneuver over pine needles and under a pine cone. When there are larger rocks, the boy lifts, then replaces them after the tiny toad has passed. The journey takes a long time, but the boy stays by its side. The boy sees the toad speed up a bit as it gets closer to the creek. The tiny creature must sense the temperature and moisture change. The toad has made it with the help of his new friend. It looks up at the boy, and even though it cannot speak, the boy knows it's sending thanks. The boy thanks the tiny toad for being so strong and allowing him to help with the journey. The boy carefully returns to the main trail, watching the ground closely. He is ready to help any other tiny toads needing assistance. While he makes his way back up, his brother has already scanned the ground and found one. The same journey over dirt, pine straw, rocks, and under sticks and pine cones. The boy squats down, observing the tiny toad, offering to help when needed. The toad travels over the smooth dirt, then the pine needles. It crosses over and under leaves. It pauses when it sees a large stick, but only for a moment as the boy has lifted it from the path of the tiny toad. It marches onward, aware of the boy and grateful for his help. This tiny creature even practices a few hops on the path to the creek. Again and again, the children repeat the pattern to the main path in search of another tiny toad. They repeat their process, help it across the busy path, watch it continue the long journey into the forest and to the creek over dirt and pine needles. Watch it travel over and under leaves. Watch it pause at the large stick, but only for a moment. Lift the stick out of the toad's way, replacing it carefully after the tiny toad is safely through. Watch it hop over the smallest rock and speed up as it nears the creek. The toad is grateful for the children, and the children are thankful for the toad. And so by focusing on one thing, one event, and making it a bit repetitive and lowering your voice as you read this story to your child, it really just helps their mind to kind of zone in on this one thing. And if they can practice doing this, then it helps to block out all of the other noise, whether it be external noise or internal noise. Like Henry says, I can't quiet my brain down. And so this helps with that process. And just it's a small step to teaching kids mindfulness. And I hope that you guys find it helpful and enjoy the books.